Vesta Tilly is one of my all-time heroes. She was a drag king, a Victorian drag king, who she and her husband worked together to create drag performances, and her husband wrote the music and she would perform it, and he in fact was knighted for their work. She couldn't be knighted because she's a woman.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you my favorite act of all time, Tucker Noir and The Passion.
My drag name is Tucker Noir, and I'm a drag king, and my civilian name is Noelle. I'm a choreographer and a dance teacher and a dancer and a mom. One of the best things about drag is that you have to create everything yourself. And then I get to develop something, you know, specific, and it gives me inspiration to work from, and I get to create like little 4-minute pods of magic. You make the concept, you find the music, you define the persona, you build the costumes. One of the things that has been really helpful to me in my life is that there are a lot of other drag artists where I live, and we like to collaborate a lot. You're responsible for a mini production beginning to end. When I started doing drag, I went to 2 drag shows, and at the end of my second drag show I was dancing on the floor with a friend, and I said, oh my gosh, if I had a drag name it would totally be Tucker, like tucking. You know, queens do this thing called tucking. And I was like, that would be so funny. And I remember that night even coming up with my last name. I thought, oh, but I'd never. I tucked all of my hair up in my hat and did suit and tie, and was instantly like, oh, that's something else. That's something different. Something came out of me that I did not expect. It was really extremely liberating and extremely. It was inspiring to me. It was a brand new vocabulary of humanity that I hadn't explored. In drag, sometimes we play with gender differently than just I'm going to be a boy, or I'm going to be a girl, you know, I'm going to be the opposite of what I am. Sometimes what we do is we blend elements from both gender stereotypes in ways that don't necessarily always make sense, and in ways that are maybe unpredictable or unique. So with Vogue, for instance, I'm wearing my drag makeup. I'm Tucker. I have all the stubble and the facial hair. And then, but I'm wearing these shoes. And I'm using Madonna's actual voice, which is a female voice, you know. And then I take my shirt off and I'm wearing a sheer shirt. I just have like my nipples covered so you can't see my nipples, but it looks like I'm a kind of a shirtless boy. Mixing a woman's voice with a man's presentation is fun and interesting and different, and it's a fun way to challenge the binary. In my 20s, I was in a really abusive relationship, and there's some really horrific things in that relationship happened. It took me a couple of years, but I finally had a total breakdown afterward. I ended up losing a lot of weight. I was under 100 pounds, and my body was falling apart. Couldn't get out of bed. I finally checked myself into a mental hospital for 9 weeks. And while there, I was put on so much medication that I had a grand mal seizure. Lost my license and was homebound for 3 months, and decided that I still had to do some kind of art. So I invited my photographer friend to come over to photograph my house exactly the way it was, with dishes everywhere and stains on the floor, and laundry and Legos and everything. And I dressed in glamorous clothing to sort of the contrast of how I was feeling and where I was with what I wanted. And I feel like those really represent a big piece of my life. I'd always had a body that was not extremely feminine, like just never developed boobs really, and, you know, never had much, for curves, and was always kind of upset with my body for that for a really long time. People had said things to me in the past like, oh, you look boyish and you're just, you look like a boy, and I'd been mistaken for a man before, and it had always hurt my feelings. I wore padded bras and grew my hair really long. I grew up with, just being a very, very insecure person. All junior high, I ate lunch by myself in the library, that kind of kid. I really believed that I was fairly worthless. I really didn't have much self-worth. Tucker, though, was successful, knew how to talk to people, knew what to wear, and the more I've done Tucker, the more it's become like, oh, I think I could do those things too, and I've implemented little pieces of him in my life, and that's been pretty fun, and has made Tucker better. I've grown from it quite a bit. I started to realize like it's a waste of time to not believe in yourself. It's a waste of time to not buy into yourself, and Tucker has really taught me that. Tucker himself, this persona, is confident. The things that, he doesn't worry about whether people will accept what he does. He just does them. If it's not what people normally do, well then it doesn't matter. This is what I do, and this is great. Tucker's main appeal, I think, is that there's sort of like gender isn't even the point here. Like, who knows what's actually going on here? And I don't really super care. And I really think that has been a new development for him. He's a little more queer than he used to be. And it's also really super fun to just be a super convincing male too. And that's my brand of drag, is that I want you to be far away from me and think I'm a boy, and I want you to be this close up and think, yeah, no, that still looks like, you're really like, I get asked about my facial hair a lot. What keeps me going is that I know I'm going to be better. I'm better than I was 3 years ago when I started. I'm better than I was a year ago. I'm better than when I was 2 years ago. Next year, I'm going to be better than I am now, and I'm going to see that change. The year after that, I'm going to be even better. And I think that that I'm following a path that I don't understand exactly, just little step by little step by little step. And every little show, I learn something else. Every little production, I get something else out of it. I did this mermaid number, and I stand in just like a bra top and a mermaid tail skirt, and basically just owning myself in this number. This woman came up to me, kind of choked up, and she said, that's what I want for myself. That's what I want to feel like. I want to feel like that. I want to go up and I want to just absorb like good energy about my body and just put it out there and, own it for whatever it is. And then I started to choke up. like that's so beautiful that somebody would, take something like that from that. And that's exactly what I would hope. Like, I don't want to stand up there and absorb, all of this attention and like display all of my like whatever so that I get better. Like, I want it to be fucking contagious. I want it to be like, you can get up there and do that, and you can get up here and do that, and I can get up here and do that, and we can all get up and be fabulous. You get an idea, you get this vision in your head, and you have to go over the vision 1,000,000 times in your brain, 1,000,000 times, and you see it so clearly. It's so clear in your head. And then to live what you dreamed and imagined, and to have it go flawlessly, is like, it's like the miracle of drag. It's the miracle of drag. Drag requires you to own your awesomeness and put it on display for everybody. And I think everybody should do that in whatever venue they do it in. But learning to own how awesome you are, whatever that thing is. I think that whatever the thing is that makes you feel like you're an alive human, you should really just do that thing a lot. And don't wait to start something. Just do it. Just be a person who does it.